Heart-wrenching visuals have emerged from Gaza, sending shockwaves through the world and sparking absolute disgust, revulsion and outrage, well, at least on the social media. 4 Gazans were burnt alive when an Israeli airstrike targeted a hospital courtyard as flames swept through a packed tent for people displaced by the war. Dozens of others, at least 70 according to hospital records, including women and children, were left with severe burns. The Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital in the Gaza Strip was already struggling to treat a large number of wounded people from an earlier strike on a school-turned-shelter nearby that killed at least 20 people when the airstrike hit and fire engulfed many of the tents. The Israeli military said it targeted fighters hiding out among civilians. In recent months, it has repeatedly struck crowded shelters and tent camps, alleging that Hamas was using them as staging grounds for attacks. More than 40,000 Palestinians have been killed since the Gaza war began on the 7th of October last year. Many around the world have accused Israel of carrying out a genocide of the Palestinian people. The question is, just what will it take for the international community and world leaders to tell Israel in no uncertain terms that enough is enough?
Displaced Palestinians woke up to their tents on fire in the early hours of Monday after an Israeli airstrike hit Al-Aqsa Hospital in central Gaza. Medics reported several people killed and dozens of others wounded. "I swear there's no safety, whether it's a hospital, a school or any place," this woman said. "Nearly 5 days ago they hit a school and today they hit the tents. As you see, what can we do?" Israel's military said it struck militants operating from a command center inside the compound. It accuses Hamas of using civilian facilities for military purposes, which Hamas denies. The strike came as Israeli forces widened their raid into northern Gaza. Residents said the military had isolated several areas in the far north of the enclave, including Jabalia, Gaza's largest historic refugee camp. As strikes continued, medics were seen rushing wounded Palestinians to Kamal Adwan Hospital in Jabalia on Sunday. The Israeli military said earlier that it had ordered evacuations in areas including Kamal Adwan Hospital. 9 days into a major Israeli operation in northern Gaza, the Hamas-run Gaza government media office said Israeli strikes had killed around 300 Palestinians there. It said Israel's bombardment of civilian houses and displacement shelters was intended to force residents to leave Gaza once and for all, which Israel denies. Palestinian and United Nations officials say there are no safe areas in the enclave. They're also worried about severe shortages of food, fuel and medical supplies in northern Gaza, saying there's a risk of famine there. An Israeli military statement on Sunday said forces operating throughout the Gaza Strip in the past 24 hours had attacked about 40 targets and killed dozens of militants.